Caribbean. The youth arm of the governing JLP, Young Jamaica, is rejecting claims from opposition spokesman on health, Dr. Alfred Dawes, that he has no affiliation with Jacqueline Pharma and Medical Services. Dr. Dawes made the claim in a post to his Instagram account in what he says was a response to persistent rumors about his involvement with the company. Reports on social media suggest Jacqueline is one of 4 private companies on whose behalf the University Hospital of the West Indies unlawfully imported items using its tax-exempt status. Mahiri Stewart has that story.
A report from the Auditor General revealed that the UWI unlawfully used its tax exemption status to import goods for at least 3 private companies. According to Nationwide's sources, a prominent politician owns at least one of the 4 companies highlighted by the Auditor General. Screenshots then began to circulate on social media of Dr. Alfred Dawes being listed as a consultant at Jacqueline Pharma and Medical Services on the company's official website. The company is owned by East Central St. Andrew Member of Parliament, the PNP's Dennis Gordon. The Auditor General's report highlights procurement and contract breaches and misuse of its tax-exempt status, totaling millions of dollars. Dr. Dawes said a failure of ministerial oversight was to blame for the issue. But in a statement, Young Jamaica hit back at Dr. Dawes, calling on him to publicly state whether or not he was affiliated with one of the companies referenced in the report as a beneficiary of the importations. That was last Friday. On Saturday, Dr. Dawes took to Instagram to deny his rumored affiliation with Jacqueline Pharma and Medical Services.
I have no affiliation with Jacqueline, but they knew this. A quick search at the company's office would have shown that I am not a director or shareholder, nor have I ever been listed on any company documents.
Dr. Dawes says his role was inaccurately represented by the website.
4 years ago, I was engaged to see whether or not I would provide medical services in my capacity as a consultant, general laparoscopic and bariatric surgeon at the facility. Those talks fell through. So whoever had my name up as consultant, they did not put my proper title. I not only did medical school for 5 years, I went on and I did postgraduate training, a PhD specialization in surgery. Then I went on to do a further specialization in weight loss surgery and minimal invasive or laparoscopic surgery. So therefore, I am a consultant general laparoscopic and bariatric surgeon, and that is what should have been listed.
But Young Jamaica is again rubbishing his claims. In a statement on Monday, the group points out that on January 19, Dr. Dawes' image remained listed on Jacqueline's website as a consultant. It adds that his image appears under a heading entitled Meet Our Founders and Partners. Young Jamaica is of the view that in these circumstances, Dr. Dawes' move to distance himself from his PNP colleague's company cannot be believed as truth. According to Young Jamaica, Dr. Dawes' claims are not only not credible, but also untrustworthy. The group has renewed its call for him to publicly clarify whether a company owned by a PNP parliamentarian is among the companies alluded to in the Auditor General's report. The police fraud squad is investigating the breaches raised by the Auditor General. Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
Thank you, Mahiri. Fewer than 50,000 customers of the Jamaica Public Service Company, JPS, remain without power since the passage of Hurricane Melissa. The update was provided by the Light and Power Company on Sunday. JPS says customers who remain without power reside in Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Trelawney, Hanover, St. James, Manchester, and St. Anne. It says of the 44,903 customers without power, the majority are in Westmoreland, 43%. St. Elizabeth followed with 40%. Trelawney had 12% of customers without light. JPS says within the last 24 hours, it has restored power to the police station and the tax office in Darliston Square and the Ferris Heights Digicel cell site in Westmoreland. It adds that power was also restored at the pump facility at Bogue. Director of the Jamaica Cyber Incident Response Team, Lieutenant Colonel Godfrey Sterling, says there's a shortage of jobs for persons certified to work in the field of cybersecurity. He was reacting to the findings of the 2025 Cybersecurity Report by the Inter-American Development Bank, IDB, and the Organization of American States, OAS. It revealed that Jamaica has insufficient consultancy services for private and public organizations.
There is a lot being said when other international bodies look at talent in terms of vacancies that exist and the ability to fill them. The challenge we have is that while we have universities that turn out persons with cybersecurity skills and persons who do certification courses, many businesses and most of government does not have cybersecurity positions on the establishment. And so what you find is that the bigger companies, the Fortinets, etc., are able to get some of the consultancies that really ought to go to local persons in positions in these entities, but those positions don't exist.
The IDB report highlighted that Jamaica has made strides in improving its cybersecurity framework, but several areas were ranked level 1, including cybersecurity defense, national security, and marketplace. Level 1 means the country was still at a startup stage at the end of 2025. According to Sterling, this poses another challenge.
When you look at the companies that provide cybersecurity services in Jamaica, there are very few. And these few, they're not very established. And so to break into the market, so when you have a Fortinet that has been providing firewalls over time, there is a relationship that is developed between the client and the supplier. And when they say, look, we will do your cybersecurity, it's an easier sell than a local company trying to say, look, we have trained people, we have the talent, we are here to provide the same services, and we keep your data here.
Lieutenant Colonel Godfrey Sterling, director of the Jamaica Cyber Incident Response Team. Marketing strategist Joel Numdarkham says companies must establish guidelines for their employees on what conduct is appropriate on social media platforms. He was speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Monday.
These entities, and it's not just JCF because of the subject now, but entities need to be very clear about what type of content they want to represent them online. For those, of course, the social media teams will be privy to create the content and get approval and put it out. But other employees who may want to create the same, and what are the guidelines? And that's where the argument starts and stops. Once you make it to digital, you are you. And as an employee of an organization, no matter what, at the end of the day, you'll still be a representative of that place until you announce that you've changed or you have moved on to somewhere else.
Last week, the Supreme Court ruled that senior officers of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, acted outside their legal powers in sanctioning a woman constable twice over her involvement in a social media video while in uniform. The video, which featured 3 JCF members, was posted to TikTok in January 2024. At the time, it was found to be in breach of the JCF's social media policy. All 3 pleaded guilty to breaching the policy and bringing the JCF into disrepute during internal hearings held in February and March 2024. Numdarkham says public servants must be responsible in their social media posts.
There's an added responsibility where, for instance, if I'm working at a bank or if I'm working at a renowned institution in a specific department that's always public facing because I decide to use my social media to show off where I work and the social impact I'm doing, and I'm at this meet and greet, I have taken a position to show that I'm affiliated here versus my other colleagues who don't use Facebook and nobody knows who them working, so they don't really have much to speak about in the social space. So we have to understand that we do bear that responsibility, because then any little thing was scandalous, you have to hear say you will work this though.
Joel Numdarkham, marketing strategist. Meanwhile, attorney at law Carla Ann Harris Roper says there must be a balance in the personal and the professional output of an employee.
I think it's a fine balancing act between making sure that the person is able to enjoy their freedom of expression on the one hand, but do not engage in activities on social media that exposes themselves and, more importantly, their employer to possible liability by their behavior and what they do and say, especially if it impacts negatively on the employer's business.
Carla Ann Harris Roper.